currently mortified because my name is Angela. She knows me quite well. We've been on panels together. I love her and I admire her. And she is truly a Cuban firecracker. You can call me Danielle if you want. I'll answer, it's fine. In the year 2002, I was attacked by serial rapist Daniel Cummings. I was his final victim, and I often like to say that he messed with the wrong woman. After I was attacked in my home with my young son sleeping in the next room, I called the police. The detective who arrived to take my statement wasn't supposed to be on shift that night. He wasn't even supposed to be on the sexual assault unit. He was covering for someone else, and this turned out to be very fortunate for me. He had worked sexual assault cases before, and the details of my case seemed very familiar to him. It was as if he'd heard them before. As I sat in the hospital room in borrowed clothing, with my sisters crying at my side, I gave little thought to the detective or even the possibility of Cummings being caught. The center's advocate stayed with me as I endured a rape exam. The rape kit was administered by a sexual assault nurse examiner at the University of Louisville Hospital. The same nurse was another in the line of amazing individuals that I encountered after the worst night of my life. She was kind, she was empathetic, she was gentle. She put me at ease in a way that I didn't think was possible. Survivors often wear masks. Many of us wear the masks of women who haven't been raped. We wear the masks of women who haven't had to call on the center for women and families in the middle of the night. We wear the masks of women who can walk down a street without looking over our shoulders, or go to sleep without checking the deadbolt 12 times exactly. I never put a mask on after that night. I was angry, and I had the privilege of being an educated, middle-class white woman. No one ever doubted my story, least of all the police with whom I interacted. I worked in public relations at the time, and I told my story to reporters. They cared about making my story public, not just for a good story, but because they liked me, and they wanted to see this monster caught. Detective Larry Duncan, now retired, worked tirelessly to catch the man who raped me. He stayed in contact with me every step of the way. He called me the minute Cummings was in custody so that I would feel safe again. Detective Duncan found my cat, who escaped out the window that Cummings broke into when he came into my apartment. For the 2 weeks that Cummings remained free after raping me, Detective Duncan kept me informed, and he even made me an active part of his investigation. I was able to help police by requesting video footage from my bank of Cummings attempting to use my ATM card. I circumvented the need for a court order, and it empowered me. My experience in the courtroom was also one of empowerment. The Commonwealth Attorney's Office connected me with other victims so we could support each other. They assigned an advocate who explained what to expect in court. And those of us who could be present as Cummings confessed to our attacks linked hands in the courtroom, and we drew on each other's strength. The judge offered each of us the opportunity to speak to our attacker. She kept a copy of a photo of me and my son so she could remember us. She gave us a sense of closure most survivors cannot imagine when she sentenced Cummings to 437 years. Justice was served that day. My experience is not typical. Several of Cummings' victims, several of the 13 that we know of, did not have my privilege. Had they been believed? Had they been respected? I may never have been raped. If our city, like so many others across the country, didn't have an embarrassing backlog of untested rape kits, I may never have been raped. Each untested rape kit represents someone's assault, the potential to catch the rapist, and the chance to prevent another rape. If our society believed victims and stopped perpetuating rape culture, you get the idea. But things are beginning to change. Our Attorney General, Andy Beshear, has sought funding for and is now addressing the backlog of rape kits with my gratitude. The Me Too movement has shed light on sexual assault in a current, relevant way that I did not expect to see in my lifetime. As we see predator after predator exposed day after day, and for the first time seeing them being held accountable, I have hope that we can create real change in the way we help victims become survivors and survivors remove their masks. Perhaps eventually we can create a society in which rape is so uncommon, none of our sons and daughters have to learn how to protect themselves on a college campus, or in the workplace, or in their own homes with their own families. The Center for Women and Families provides services to any victim of sexual assault or domestic violence and their families. This organization is a beacon of hope and healing in our community and for so many of us. The center was integral to my healing. I attended drop-in groups when I needed extra support, and I am now a member of the Survivors Council, which affords me the opportunity to speak to the community, to help train volunteers and new staff. Being a voice for and with other survivors has healed me. I'm healthy and I'm whole today. I want to thank all of the dedicated and compassionate advocates who were on the front line when I was assaulted and who continue to do this work daily. For the rest of us, we must believe victims. Support the Center and other services for the prevention of sexual assault and domestic violence. Now is the time to eradicate this scourge from our community. We're done. Thank you.